Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a family of apple worms in an apple orchard. But this family wasn't like the wolves we know from the forest. They were little wormies living inside the fruits, apple worms. There was a mommy worm, a daddy worm, and 2 sibling worms. This family lived inside the apple tree during winter, and when the apples grew in summer, they happily resided inside one of them. One day, a hand plucked the apple where the worm family lived from the tree. First, it went into a basket, then into a car, and off it went to a city market, where it was sold along with other apples. As the grocer arranged the apples on the counter, our worm family tried to figure out what was happening, looking around bewildered. Meanwhile, a little girl passing by the grocery stand said to her mom, "I want an apple," and reached out her hand towards the wormy apple. After her mom paid for the apple, the little girl put it in her bag and headed home. When they got home, just as the girl was about to take a bite, the worms called out, "Hello, we're a worm family. Please don't eat us." The little girl got scared at first when she heard worm, but the apple worms reassured her, saying, "Don't be afraid, we're little apple worms." The little girl got acquainted with the apple worms and had a chat with them, then asked, "What can I do for you?" The worm family asked, "We can't survive in the city. Could you take us back to our apple orchard?" The little girl thought for a moment and said, "There's no apple orchard here, but there's a pine tree in the park. I can take you there if you'd like." The desperate wormies agreed, and the little girl took them to the pine tree in the park. From that day on, they became pine worms, happily living inside pine cones, munching on apples the little girl brought them every day. And so, for many years, our little apple worms lived happily ever after as pine worms, enjoying their apple-filled pine cones. And that's the end of the story. Good night, sweet dreams.